What's up, everybody? We told you we'd be back, and here we are. And we're all excited. We're all stoked. We just watched a game that was very choppy in the beginning. Second half was a lot better. Man, it was stressful. 7 minutes of stoppage time?
It was great, though. It's entertaining.
Ew, maybe for you. This is the Instant Reaction post-game from 110 Football in partnership with Adidas. I am Vince LaRosa. To my right is Connor Klopsis. To my left, Jessica Black and Jen Munoz. The squad is all here. We're going to break down everything that happened in this game, but we're going to start right here. Vince LaRosa is now 2 for 2 predictions. Last game I said it was going to be 3-2, LAFC against RSL. Today I said it was going to be 2-1. Discuss some.
After I said that, I might have chose 2-1.
But you didn't.
So, you know,
put it out there.
As long as Vince keeps predicting that we win, I don't have a problem with you being on this streak. So,
Okay.
Just do that the next game, please.
Fair point.
Yeah. I have no method. I don't like throw something on the ground and look at how it falls or anything. I go with my gut. Sometimes I just steal what I thought was good from Jessica, and that's what's worked for me. But what also works for us is we have a big screen off camera that you cannot see, but we can see your comments. So please get in the comments. Let us know what's going on. We can look at them like right now. Z, 7 minutes. Bob parked the bus. Great job. I agree with you. There's no reason to not park the bus when you get 7 minutes of stoppage time. 7 minutes.
Jordan Harvey, masterclass. Seeing out the game.
Seeing out the game.
Come on. Bob did that intentionally. He was like, hey, we need to get a result. Put in Jordan Harvey.
Can either of you two remember a match that you played in which there was 7 minutes or more of stoppage time?
I can't.
Not at all. That was insane.
Yeah, right?
That was crazy.
I'm still trying to figure out where them 7 minutes came from.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
somebody
was
needs
the
to
ref
look at
okay?
that. There's no.
Was the ref okay?
Someone should check up on it because that's insane. 7 minutes.
I just want to agree with Jaden real quick. As the great philosopher T-Pain once said, all I do is win. And that's what LAFC is currently doing.
3 wins in a row.
3 wins in a row. Let's go.
And a lot of results have also gone our way.
Yeah.
Did you say we were up to 5th?
We're currently up to 5th place.
Depending on how the results break.
Sporting Kansas City beat Minnesota 4-0. LA Galaxy is currently losing to the Houston Dynamo, which is good. And then, hey, Colorado, Portland Timbers 0-0. It's good. I'm feeling great today.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
I'm feeling very good. I'm looking at the chat and I'm starting to get a little worried. Our defense is bad.
Well,
We only gave up 1 goal.
that's a little prelude to maybe my stock down. I mean, I'm very big about the defense, and it is bad sometimes. You know, we did good. We saw out the game, but I think we can all say that we need to improve on that. Were you guys comfortable? I was very scared towards the end of that. Actually, the whole game I was pretty scared.
Was that an amalgamation of LAFC season or just like the way they were actually playing?
I think it was their spacing. The defense was just having so much space left and right, and I think that's what caused one of the goal.
It definitely was what caused one of the goals. Yeah, we'll definitely get really into that. Okay, so guys, if you're new here, we do a headline, we do a stock up, we do a stock down, and we have some final thoughts. We're already starting to really dig into it. So before we go too deep, I'm going to start with our headlines. Jessica, you were bragging upstairs that you had a headline ready to go, and I don't want to let someone steal it, and I won't steal it. So I'm going to have you go first. What was your headline for this match?
Well, thank you for not stealing it because I was talking about you.
I'm trying to get back in the best friends area.
This is true. You're getting there.
Okay.
But my headline is actually going to be Austin is bad, but who cares? You know, I think Austin is very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not a good team. But these are the type of games that you need to be able to win, regardless of, you know, we're just a good enough team where I feel like these types of teams we should be putting away. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was as easy as that, but we did actually get the points, and that's what's most important. Austin was bad. Who cares? We got the game. We got the 3 points, and that's what's most important. You know, in the end of the day, we talk about ugly wins kind of all the time. Pretty much all the wins that we've had since I've been a part of 110 Football have been ugly.
You love it.
I do love it. I love a little bit of grit. You know, a little bit of just band together and get the points, and we did that. Austin is horrendous, but we got the point, so who cares?
How bad?
Love it.
How bad is Austin?
Bad, but who cares?
But who
Exactly.
cares? I enjoy that. Jen, when you go into a match, and to her point, they're not a very good team. When you leave there with 3 points, do you care?
Not at all. I mean, like Jess said, it was a scrappy game. Everyone could see that. But a win's a win. We got the points, and that helps us with playoffs. So That's all that really matters.
Do you got a headline for us? What is your headline?
You know, I was not really. I was kind of, is everyone okay? Is everyone still breathing with those 7 minutes of extra time? I just can't get over that.
The 7 minutes
is everyone
just
okay?
drove you a little
Yes.
nuts.
Yeah, it drove me very
Is
nuts.
everyone okay is a pretty good, actually, headline. Because,
Yeah.
well, actually, I want to ask you guys this because is everyone okay? Like, how does everyone feel now? And this is 3 wins in a row, starting to move up the table. We're starting to solidify some things without still a lot of pieces in place. Is this a good team?
It's a good squad.
Honest question.
Yeah.
It's a good squad for sure. I would say this goes back to Connor's point before in the pre-match show that this was not our first string. This was probably a combination of the B and C team coming together to get the points. And so I would say that this is a really deep squad that can get things done even when it's not pretty. I mean, no Carlos Vela, no Diego Rossi because he's gone now. No Latif wasn't in the game. Chicho Arango just kind of getting his feet. It's a good squad to me. It's a deep squad that can get things done.
The chat is stressed.
The chat is stressed. There's a lot going on in the chat.
Yeah.
I just want to address a couple
I know
things.
you're like glued to it. And I feel like when I'm stressed, you make it worse. So how can you help these people instead?
First of all, people want a Chicho candle to join the Vela.
Ooh.
I mean, Rossi's gone now.
Maybe
So
we
maybe
do have to replace the
maybe do
candle.
we replace the
Maybe we
Rossi
should,
candle with Chicho?
Do people in the chat want us to maybe like give the Rossi candle as a prize?
Oh, that could be cool.
Maybe we should. We should give it as a prize sometime. But yeah, Chicho candle I think is for
Chicho
sure on the
candles,
agenda.
yeah.
But no, help de-stress these people.
Look, a win's a win. We got points. 3 games, 3 wins. If you told me 3 games ago that we were going to be on a 3-game win streak, especially with SKC ahead and the team that we're going to have on the pitch, I'd have been like, no chance. We'd be lucky to get 1-2 points in my eyes from these 3 games. And so now our season's back on track. This game, you know, the past 3 games have been really, really, really important, but this game could be the tone to kind of get our season back on track. Now we're 5th place. We were not in the playoffs, above the playoff line just a couple games ago. Now we're 5th place. We're not even at the bottom of the playoff line. We're 5th place. We can turn the season around.
All's well that ends well. Let's just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. Connor, do you have a headline for me?
My headline is 3s. We beat Austin 3 times this season. We beat RSL 3 times this season. We're on a 3-match win streak. Come on, 3s.
3s.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can go anywhere for that. So let's go to our stock rising. Jen, do you have a stock rising from the match?
I do. It would have to be, obviously, Moose. I think he stepped up and he did what he had to do. And, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Better finish or better pass from Sifu to Moose? You're a midfielder. Don't you got to stick with
I'm a
the
center
midfield
mid,
brigade?
So, yeah.
So better pass.
Yes.
That's got to
better
be a
pass.
better shot. I disagree.
Why?
Okay, I'm not trying to drag the Moose, but for what I would have expected him to do, that was a out of this world finish for his standards. So I was very impressed and very happy that he was able to put that away with the outside of his boot.
Weren't we saying that he was a little bit wasteful just maybe even a couple of games ago? You know, Moose getting into good positions but not really finishing off the chances. Today, he took care of business. So, yeah, I think Moose definitely deserves a shout, and Sifu for the pass, 100%.
For you guys at home, how much did you like the Moose kind of messing with Brad Stuver? I like that a lot.
loved it.
I like that a lot. Just a
Yeah,
little,
so that's what I was
shake him
just
up a
about to
bit.
bring us to. Like, did you guys love it? Like, I generally don't love that kind of stuff because it seems like it actually takes away from the team most times. Like last match, we talked about Bryce Duke, and I really loved how Bryce Duke played, and people were like, I love how fired up he's getting. But I did note that when he was getting fired up, his play started to go down. The more he was stepping to guys and getting in their faces, his play went down. Opposite for Danny Musovski.
Yeah.
So did you like it? Do you generally like a little bit of extras, dark arts?
I told you, I'm always one card away. That's me all day, every day. A little bit of dark arts, a little bit of getting into the guys' heads, and as long as it doesn't drop your play, as you said, it's always good to see just a little bit of something different. You know, we can't always be nice guys and the pretty passes and stuff. Sometimes you just got to do the things that really get in other players' heads. And you can see the goalkeeper was rattled. You know, so I like that from Moose. I like that from a young player, and yeah, more of that.
Which side of the line did you end up on when you played? Like, were you the player that could get away with it, or did you have to I got to behave here because that's what's going to keep me in the game?
You know, I think I had to behave a little bit. I think for me, it comes off as a distraction. It just depends on your mentality, and I think that the more energy I exert outside of the ball is a downer for me.
Okay.
I think the chat's loving what Moose did.
The chat is loving Moose.
Eric.
Everything Moose
Moose
did,
show.
Eric Z,
Thug life.
they're loving it. I mean, I think the chat, we'll throw this out there, chat. I know that they were talking about this earlier, but we got some more people in there. Who was your man of the match? That's an easy one. So let's see who you got. I think there's going to be a lot of Moose answers. And while you guys think of that and put in your answer, Connor, your stock rising.
My stock rising would be Bryce Duke. He didn't have the best game, but there was definitely a momentum change when Bryce and Danny came on the pitch. You know, I don't have statistics to back it up, but watching the game, you saw the team wanted to go forward. We wanted to grab a win. And, you know, when Raheem came off and Christostomo came off, they did. I'm not saying they had a terrible game, but really the team looked like they were more hungry when Bryce came on the pitch. And, you know, maybe he should have been starting, but then Sifu's too good. So who do you start, Bryce or Sifu?
Yeah. Well, and to your point about bringing Bryce in, let's talk about a bigger point that the chat's bringing up. Bob Bradley's had to do a lot of coaching and a lot of managing in these past couple of games, and he's had to make good subs, had to pick good starting lineups, had to pick good formations. So where are we on Bob Bradley as the manager and coach making decisions?
He's my stock up. He's my stock rising.
Okay.
Bob Bradley.
Yeah, 110%. I think in the end of the day, we're talking about changes that Bob Bradley made. And just a couple of weeks ago, he was making changes and we weren't seeing any. There was no changes in anything that was happening on the pitch. Today, he got it spot on. Good managers know how to pivot and be able to say, you know what, I may have made a mistake. Maybe Bryce Duke should have been on the pitch. Maybe we should have started with a 4-3-3, but I'm going to change it now. And if you get the result, you should be getting the plaudits for it. He needs to get his flowers. Like, we have to remember, like, Bob has went through a really, really tough season, you know, with a team that has good players in and out, a lot of injuries. I mean, we read the injury list before. And he has a lot of young.
To read it, like literally
right,
read it.
Young players, you know, in the side, playing in very high pressure moments, and he got the result today. So, and in the last 2 games. So for me, 100%, Bob Bradley needs a little bit of this, maybe a glass of wine. You know, somebody needs to rub his feet because Big Bob did it today. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy because I do like him as a manager. I just feel like he kind of went off of the boil a little bit and he's come back. And that's really important for a coach to see that your tactics are working, your plans are working. You know?
What's the chant? Bob the Builder.
Bob the
Yes,
Builder chant.
We can.
Yes, we can. Because
Yes,
it
we
was,
can.
yes, he can, and he reminded them that it's a we because it is a community and club
us.
effort. Look, I'm on the record as being a big Bob Bradley fan because I enjoy the way he sees the game. I enjoy the way he breaks down the game. Look, the first 2 minutes of Bob Bradley's press conferences are all you need for the game. Like, he'll literally go goal to goal. This is what happened. This guy was short on his mark. He was there. And I know that some people think that managers like to steer the narrative, and some do. There's the Joses that really like to steer the narrative. But Bob pretty much tells you, like, this is how the game broke down. Now, you can totally agree with him or disagree with him, but he kind of gives it to you straight, and I've always enjoyed that. But one thing beyond that is he stays true to his principles. So even though he's been changing and moving things around, when you have a coach that says, yes, we need to get better, but keeps the consistent message, what does that do for the team?
I think it gives the team confidence. I mean, they've had a lot of changes, but at the same time, having Bob own that confidence and own his tactics makes the players, you know, take a step back and realize my coach knows what he's doing. Obviously, let's go out there and work.
Yeah, assuming the players are all also in on that.
For
like,
sure.
I'm guessing the players, like, he walks in the locker room and everyone's like, told you. Like, this, everyone thought we weren't going to do it, and they have a smirk on their face. I'm assuming.
I hope so.
I hope so. Well, yeah, they better have a Danny Musovsky-esque smirk at Brad Stuver on their face. Who is
that to?
Who's
Did
Danny
he do that?
Shushing?
He
That's another
celebrated
one.
with a shush.
Moose, a lot of people are looking like Moose is going to be their pick. Some people are asking, hopefully, that Atuesta's going to be back. It makes me think that this was a slightly precautionary for Edward Atuesta, although we are going to play on a turf field next. So you could possibly hold him out one more because the stretch run, who is that? Los Angeles TV. Atuesta is definitely the catalyst of this team. So let's go from our stock rising to stock falling. Connor, you were very excited to talk about stock falling, so I'm going to let you go first.
It's got to be Raheem Edwards, right? I mean, look,
Is it falling or just he's...
I think he's fallen even farther than where he was before.
Okay.
This game has been, I think, his worst game of the season, hands down. the decision making on his part, just the sheer lack of, I think, overall fitness as well. He doesn't seem to be holding his own in both teams. He looks to be the slowing down at times when he should be bursting out with pace. And then, like I said, just the decision making. It's been very poor. Not making the right passes when you need to, holding on to the ball way too long, and just losing possession way too easily. And as much as I love, I'm the biggest Raheem Edwards fan here, but I've said it before, I just don't see him being able to hold his weight on this team any longer.
The decision making is the biggest for me.
He seemed a little lost, don't you think? I mean, he kept cutting back, and usually when you cut back, you have no decisions left. So I think that kind of, made the whole team step back a little bit.
I feel like he was not at all playing to Bob Bradley's system or tactics. I think he went out there and was just kind of like, I'm just going to do what I know, but not what Bob wants me to do.
I mean, wingback's a weird position, right? Because in a lot of ways you are kind of on your own. You provide that natural width, and if your team is not with you when you press up or is not connected to you, you kind of feel like you're on an island. But was that his positioning or was that the team? I mean, the first half was choppy. I'll at least give Raheem that benefit of the doubt there. The first half was.
Sure.
Well, I mean, we've talked about the wingback system. It kind of works and it kind of doesn't, and it's kind of a little bit about the personnel, but a little bit more about just not having the right pieces in play. Like, I think it's a little bit of both, and Raheem just kind of looks like somebody who's maybe lost a little bit of confidence in the last couple of weeks, in and out of the team. When you come into the team, you're playing as a left wing back. I'm pretty sure that's not the position that he probably wants to be playing. So, I want to give him some grace on that, but he definitely was poor today. This is not the first time that I've seen him have this lack of decision making. I just think it's just a combination of so many different things. I hope he gets back into some sort of decent form, because at the moment, I'd be surprised if he played in the next match based on what he did today.
I just want to jump in and say, some people disagree with my take. Fair enough, but I want you to
Fire Connor.
Please tell me why. So if you think Raheem was good, why is it? What did you see in his play where you thought that he was good today? I genuinely didn't see anything from his game where he would be due any credit. So please.
He did work hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say at times he lost it and he got it back, but he did more negatives and positives, and that's soccer.
And sometimes he got it back and then lost it again.
Exactly.
And then got it back. No,
and then lost it again. But anyway.
Okay, Jessica, your stock falling.
Yeah, my stock falling is the back three. The whole point of having a back three is to have an additional center back there to squeeze the space and make sure you don't have gaps in your back line. And that's how they scored, with a huge gap in between our center backs. So what's the point of doing that and really taking away a midfielder if you guys aren't going to be in position? There's no point in taking away one of our strongest assets, which is our midfield, being a man down in the most important part of the pitch if you guys aren't going to be close enough to each other to make that third center back make sense. So for me, I just felt it almost worked against us to have those three if they're not going to stay tight and stay in their structure. So although I do think quietly Mamadou Fall for me still had a good game, I think some of his passing out of the back was quite good. He got beat a couple of times, but I mean, he's a young guy. Murillo always plays really hard, and so does Farfan, but ultimately, your job is to stay tight and not get beat the way that you did for the goal. I mean, if we don't get that second goal, I mean, you're looking directly at that moment, what were those three guys doing? So for me, back three didn't work because the whole point is for you guys to be tight and to have an extra man, and there's just no point in it if you're not going to be tight, you know?
I mean, I see where you're going there with that. And when we were up there, I immediately said, if your center backs are ever 15 yards apart, there's no point of having three center backs.
Right.
Something's wrong there.
Yeah, because you're just basically opening spaces. But it was that one moment, because otherwise, defending crosses, which has been what we're absolutely garbage at, they've been very good at. So where do you rank out the center back, the three center backs today?
I mean, it's a little tricky. But I would have to agree with Jess. I mean, they're your last men on the field before it's a goal. So I think they need to be more aware of their surroundings as a center back. There's always, especially with Austin FC, they're just pressuring you like no other. So I think they need to be more aware of their surroundings and, looking all the time. I mean, it's the basics, and I think that's what we lacked.
What about the communication
That's
aspect
the
of it
basics,
as well?
right?
communication. There were some moments where Romero probably could have called Murillo off. And maybe this goes back to not having Segura back there too. We're missing our main guy in the back, but ultimately Murillo's been back there since, Segura's been missing. They need to talk, so it's a little bit of everything. But ultimately, if I'm taking a man out of my midfield in order to be more solidified in the back, you cannot give up a goal the way that you did. It doesn't make sense.
Do you think that comes from lack of leadership, that voice?
It's interesting because Murillo wore their armband today, which you pointed out when we were watching, and I was like, really? I was actually kind of surprised.
The captain. But Mike, who else would be captain?
I thought maybe it'd be Sifu, but we did notice that there definitely is. I don't know. They're talking, but is people not listening? That stadium is very loud. We'll give credit to Austin.
Right.
Well, against RSL, what was collectively one of our stock risings? It was Atuesta. His leadership on the field, especially coming into the game. We even mentioned, does Atuesta get the armband post Carlos Vela? And we kind of agreed that Atuesta,
possible.
He's, if not captain, at least the next biggest voice in the locker room. He was not there this game, and maybe that had an effect on the rest of the team.
I would 100% agree with that. I think he brings that calmness to the team, and as you can see, we're so rattled. So without him, it just seemed like kind of not a disaster, but a little.
Well, a lot of people in the chat are asking about Cristóstomo. What did we think of him? I have my opinion on. I mean, I'll just throw my opinion out there. I think for a start, for his first MLS start, okay. What I did like about him was he was not the type of player to get a ball and just play a sideways pass. Seemed like he was always trying to look forward. Now, we can debate on if it was always the right decision or a good pass, but I thought that he was brave in that respect. And I think that's what this team needs, because when you lose an Atuesta, you lose so much in terms of your progressive and forward passing. So you give him that. But I want to throw it out to the group. What did you guys see from Cristóstomo?
Well, I think it's kind of what we went back to. Cristóstomo definitely deserved to have a moment to try to shine, and I think just the lack of senior players in the middle of the pitch hurt him a little bit as well. You have Janela in there and Sifu in there. Those are also youngish players as well. So I just think maybe he just suffered from not having an Atuesta next to him to kind of lead him through the game. He did a decent job, but another stock rising could have been Atuesta, because you're seeing that although we have good technical, bright young players that could play in the midfield, they're not quite ready to really manage the midfield. I think he just kind of got swallowed up by the occasion, but he did do well. It wasn't like a catastrophic performance, I think he was okay.
What about, you're the other midfielder on our panel. What did you think?
I mean, I did think that, like Jess said, I just really feel like he needed those veteran players around him. I mean, some players do really well when he's playing with great players, and just that soccer intelligence is a lot higher with those veterans. And I mean, maybe it comes from confidence, maybe not, but I do think he did well, like Jess said. But I mean, I think he could have done a lot better with that confidence of those veteran players around him. Yeah,
I think Cristóstomo gets that stamp of okay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, when you see him either coming onto the field or there's still going to be games where there's going to be a congested schedule and he might be starting. Do you feel a little more confident in him?
Yeah,
what do you feel?
As a player who came from the USL, there was a lot of questions to your point. It wasn't catastrophic. He didn't drop the level of LAFC's play too much. So on that basis alone, I am comfortable with Cristóstomo being able to slot into the lineup once in a while, especially if we need to rotate players, rest players. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. I think it was a very okay performance. Nothing bad, but nothing great as well. So.
Okay. Well, I've moved the ball around so much. I've almost kind of. Jen, did I not get your stock falling yet?
No, but I would just reiterating what Connor said. Bryce Duke, I think he should have started. I think as soon as we went in, there was just a fire in everyone, and I think that he should have been in at the start, and maybe that would have changed a few things. Maybe have us less stressed a little bit, but I do think he should have started.
I mean, a lot of people in the chat agree with you, and he definitely was an immediate impact. It'll be interesting to see. Again, there'll be very interesting lineup choices.
Do you think he's going to change it?
Going to Portland. I think you have. I mean, you have a couple games every day, and I think there was already some proactive changes, as we said. Maybe Atuesta was one of them. He probably maybe could. Look, if this is a do or die game, I think Atuesta plays.
course.
But with the congested schedule, he's not. So
I
I do think there'll be
I-
changes.
I would-
I mean, look, we talked about Raheem. I don't think Raheem starts the next game.
I think Cheeky playing decent at the end of the game when he came on, not great, but decent. I think he'll replace Raheem for the next game. But I will say, I think this game against Portland is somewhat of a do or die game.
Isn't every game at this point?
It is every game, but
Don't say must win.
not. Look, Portland is at a place in the standings where this is another 6-point game. Easy. We've had a bunch of 6-point games recently, and these games will define where we are at the end of the season. So if
That's
I'm
what the
LAFC,
schedule does.
I would put in Atuesta if fit.
If it, well, of course. I mean, isn't
I agree.
Atuesta?
Yeah,
No, but
it's who's going
not-
to partner him. Yeah.
Fit to the extent of, let's say they're monitoring it. I would feel more comfortable with Atuesta.
Can I
rather
be
than
honest though? An 80% Atuesta for me would be better than 100% anybody else for me. I just feel we missed so much without him being in there, and so for me, for the next match, it's who's going to be next to him. I would assume that we play well, I don't know if I would even. I just feel like we've been playing a lot of a back three, so that means we'll leave somebody out of the midfield. What's going on with Latif?
I don't know. He didn't feature at all in this game.
Chat.
That's
What do
a
you
very
think?
interesting question.
Thoughts on Latif?
There was no Latif at all in this game. Didn't come off the bench. I would think. Look, Latif had good performances leading up to this, and I was actually somewhat surprised that Latif didn't start. They gave Kim Moon-Wan the start, and a lot of people in the chat have not been impressed with Kim Moon-Wan as of late. Some of it's been his play, some of it's been his attitude, and the way he's dealt with some adversity when he doesn't get the ball past him. I was actually surprised, and I would think that Latif starts the next game. I don't know where, though, to your point. Is it a 3-5-2? Is it 4-3-3? I'm not so sure. But let's...
Can I just
What?
to try to? I want to give an honorable stock down.
On,
An
honorable stock down.
An honorable mention.
Okay.
how does that work? An honorable stock down? So, like, not quite a stock down?
Not
or
quite a stock down. Not as bad as Raheem Edwards in my eyes.
Okay.
But I think Brian Rodriguez, for how good he has been prior, he came off a great game against the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then went off international duty, got an assist with Uruguay. That's you can't
One a penalty?
you can't get a bigger stage than that. You know, to perform at that level, for him to come in and really be invisible all game.
I honestly felt he was not getting much service.
I would have to agree with you.
You agreed with me, you didn't. So let's fight this out. Let's go.
Fight it out.
Just kidding.
My take was that, look, Brian is so much better when he is getting into open spaces and he's getting the ball on his foot when he's not flat-footed. So that's why a lot of the balls that were being played to him were in those positions. Jessica, you feel differently, I can tell. So where you're with Connor. So we got 2v2 here.
It's just a little bit of I think there were moments where he did get the ball and didn't have the best. He didn't have the right intentions when he got it, and so I do agree that I thought Chicho and Rodriguez were starved of some service, but when they got the ball, they didn't make great decisions. And we expect our more senior players, our star players, our DPs to come through. And if you get one chance, you have to take it. And so I get that, sometimes you're not getting as many chances as you'd like, but I still expect them to do better.
Especially as a designated player.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
just
standard in which we hold Brian Rodriguez, he did not play good today. That's my personal opinion.
You're
You
getting
can
fired
disagree.
again in the chat.
Okay, but why
I don't think he didn't play
Tell me
good.
why you think he played good.
He was
please.
just invisible. I feel like there's a difference between not getting the ball because
Sure.
you have no options and then just playing bad. And he didn't have the ball much to play bad.
I'll reiterate. I don't think
Jen and I think he played well, though.
No,
I don't think he
didn't.
played
Yeah.
bad, but he didn't do anything good for the player of his caliber. Him and Arango up top should create a little more than they did this game.
I just wonder how functional Brian is in a 2. Arango seems to work really well in a 2 because his hold-up play is so good. And yes, he makes bad decisions at time to time because he's trying to do too much himself and maybe he doesn't lay it off. Brian doesn't really have hold-up play. And I'm not saying you need 2 with hold-up play, but like if you're not finding people, he's kind of just lost in that shuffle.
Well, I think the entire team was a little bit lost in that original shape, with playing with Sifu right underneath the 2. Those are not natural positions for these players. I think Arango wants to be the standalone 9 and have players running in behind or kind of, showing for him. Brian Rodriguez was a little bit lost off on whatever side. So once we moved to that 4-3-3, you could see that we kind of went back to type and things started to come back together. So I honestly would like to see against Portland us start with a 4-3-3 and just go for it, because inevitably you're going to end up switching back to it. We always do.
Yeah.
We never really get the whole 90 with this 3-back whatever. So just
It
play
actually
the
went
4-3-3.
3 to 4-3-3, then back to 3 when they brought in Jordan Harvey to kind of close it out.
Yeah. So I think he should start with the 4-3-3 and just go for it. I mean, wouldn't you rather see, I don't know, anything other than what we started out with?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it is fair to say, though, that this result, although it wasn't the prettiest, it was still a result, and that will give the team momentum coming into Portland, at least. I think we can all at least be a healthy amount of optimism coming into a relatively okay Portland team. So we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. I'm going to take it from you there, and we are going to spin it forward because we're going to go to our final thoughts. So you guys can kind of go anywhere with this. Connor, do you have a final thought?
Final thoughts? We're good. We're good. Whatever.
Okay, well, see you later.
All right, everyone, bye. Whatever happens this season, this is more a general note. I think that we didn't hit rock bottom, but for LAFC, it felt like rock bottom halfway through the season, and we've kind of turned the ship around a little bit. I can't predict exactly what's going to happen this rest of the season.
Supposedly I can.
You can, so keep predicting we win. But I will say that I think we're starting to set a good foundation for next season. I think, hopefully we'll...
You're already looking ahead to next.
I'm already looking ahead because I hope that we make playoffs, which is looking at least possible and achievable now. It didn't a couple games ago. And, hopefully we can make a good run. I don't know where we'll land. I hope we can go all the way, but, others may not see that. But I'm just happy that this team is starting to look like itself again.
I just want to say that you were on this show, not on this set. We were at the bank, and you said
I did.
LAFC MLS Cup winners.
I did predict
Let's move on.
I did predict it, and I'm going to stay true to it.
Okay.
But I know not everyone will agree with me.
All right. Jessica, final thought? Or Jen, do you want to jump in? Go for
I
it.
do, just really fast. I have to, again, agree with Connor. A win's a win. Come on, 3 points. We're winning. We should be happy. At the same time, yes, maybe tactically we're not doing our best, but hey, we scored, we won. Let's all be happy. I mean, and our goal is to be champions, and this is helping us towards that goal.
Well, I grew up watching the Italian national team, and I always fear for the worst.
Love that.
So, Jessica, what was your final thought?
I guess my final thought would just be, I'm really proud of what we've seen over the last 3 games. Actually, the last 4 games, because I also thought when we played against the Galaxy and drew 3-3, that although that's not the result that we really wanted, we could see the life kind of coming back into the eyes of this team. They do not have their best players available all the time. A lot of injuries to key experienced players, and when you see young players like Bryce Duke and Moose and Janela and Kim Moon-Wan, who I know is not super young but is kind of newish to the team, fall, it's just nice to see, because I think we ask questions about this team. Do they have the grit? Do they have the ability to come through adversity and do more than, tiki-taka, really beautiful football? And they have it. They have it. And so that's another dimension to this team that I wasn't sure that was there. After these last 4 games, I know it is. And it's definitely there with those young players. And that's really important for, as Connor said, the future. So I couldn't be happier. We are kind of analyzing and nitpicking just a little bit, but ultimately what Jen said is important. We won the game and we move on. I hope, to the end of the season, this is just trajectory going upwards.
Shout out to Pancho Janela. We didn't bring his name up at all, but he's been really solid. I think he's really solidified himself in the lineup. I want to see more Pancho Janela. He has been freed, and we see him in the lineup, and he's been doing very well.
Hashtag Ginella freed.
Janela
And I just want to jump in one last time.
Okay, you've been rehired, supposedly.
To the chat.
Yes.
Okay? You can say what you want, but I'm manifesting it. Okay? We're winning MLS Cup. It's going to be great. Say what you want. Clip this now, and I'll play it to you postseason.
To the chat.
I love
To
it.
the chat. I'll just run it on all our socials.
Okay, that should have been your final thought, but
It's my second final thought. My final thought.
it's your honorary final thought.
It's my own.
Got it. Jen, Your final thought.
Just a win's a win.
Win's a win.
That's all. Yep.
I
There we
like
go. Sweet and
Yours?
simple.
Short and sweet.
simple. Hey, it's coming from an ex-player, so we
You should
take
just
her
listen
word
to that.
for it.
Yeah.
Respect on that. My final thought is kind of going back to Bob Bradley. I think he deserves a lot of credit for coaching up this team and for making the right changes, pushing the right buttons, while still maintaining that this was always a good team. There was a good team in there. He knew he could find it, and if he could coax it out of them and they could put it together, they would start believing. So that's my final thought, and it's another 6-pointer on Sunday against Portland.
Another 6-pointer.
And we'll be there.
Moving up the
you You and I
table.
will be there.
Yes.
Jessica and I are going to be out there. Connor, thank you. Thank you,
you.
Jessica. Thank you, Jen. Thank you,
Vince.
everyone in the chat. You guys have been great. It's been awesome to be able to see the chat as we do these instant reactions here in the fan cave at 110 Football. This is the 110 Football Instant Reaction Show in partnership with Adidas. I think we're out. I think we're out here. Are we
think
going to do
we're
the
outta
schedule?
here.
We'll do the
Oh, yeah,
schedule. We'll do the schedule. Big show Friday, guys. Big show 110 Football with me and Jessica Black. We'll be breaking down. We're going to talk about Chicho Arango at the touchscreen. And then, like we said, Jessica and I are going to be in Portland for away days. And then Tuesday, Max and Vince will come back to wrap it all up for your audio pleasure. And that's it. So thank you guys again. Thank you, everybody in the chat.
Chat's on my side now.
Connor is
Connor for
back in the
president.
Back in
game.
the
Connor
chat.
is rehired.
Bye,
So thank
everyone.
you, chat. Goodbye, everybody.